on this computer. Wow, we did it. No hang-ups today. It's like the glasses morning today, Mia. You with your pretty glasses and me with my glasses obsession. Super happy to be here
Yay.
today. It's been quite a couple of weeks. I've had, I'm going through that entrepreneur roller coaster again this week, and I know we'll talk about that some more too. Like, oh my gosh, I'm killing it. I'm amazing. Then I had a week with my lowest low a couple weeks ago, and then I picked myself back up, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
killing it again. Like
Yeah.
life of an entrepreneur, right? So before we kick
Good.
in, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and do my digital marketing stuff for today. So yeah, this is a good one to share. So I guess I want to first start with what I'm thinking about this week and why I put this tutorial together. So right now, like this is a really good time. If everybody has some time today or tomorrow or over the weekend to really give some thought to what their goals are for the next, let's say 6 weeks. And I don't mean get your holiday shopping done, get your house cleaned out, that kind of thing. But what are you going to do today or tomorrow that's going to really stick and it's going to help you to reach whatever business goals you've got in mind, not just for this holiday season, but into the new year. So people's radar is on, they're looking for stuff. It's also super busy. So it's either they're looking for you or they're looking for you and they can't find you because it's so busy. And so what I've done is in this, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time for my dog. In fact, I might even have to skip out for a quick second and put her outside. She's very curious today. Um, so I put together this tutorial. Usually my webinars are like $79, $99, like super affordable. But this one I really wanted to make um, like so super easy because my heart-centered entrepreneurs just need that leg up. They need that container of support to give them, I could offer 15 tips, but if you just get one tip out of this tutorial, it's worth the $39 to take it. And so just so you know what's kind of in it, right? It's going to help you figure out what you're going to offer. And in just a short period of time, you can create a series, like a promotional plan. Some people would call it a funnel. Some people would call it a campaign, whatever it is you call it, a 3-part series, short, sweet, to the point, call to action, and make it stand out. And then how do you use that going into the new year? I know this is sounding like a commercial, but also so when you purchase that for the $39, you get this like guide. And what I love about this guide that I've put together is every page has links to more and more and more. Like if you're like, how do I offer a coupon? How do I plan an event? Like, so a lot of people right now have like their vendor event. So if you're a part of another person's vendor event, there's nothing stopping you from making it your own event on your page, right? So what does that look like? So you can do it on your Facebook page, and then you can do it on Constant Contact or whatever your permission-based email is. Run a contest, add value. So these are all live links with how-tos, like so much. It's overwhelming. Choose one. Don't do them all, just choose one. And also you're going to get this download. I got this from Constant Contact, and they allowed me to brand it with my stuff too. But it's a worksheet to actually take you through 4 steps to get it done. They give you some ideas for planning out the rest of November, the rest of December, and then we have the worksheets for you to do it on your own. So I'm super excited about it. It was worth me kind of coming on here and being selly because I really feel that strongly about the content here. All right, you guys. Now comes the part that I love the most, which is actually talking about somebody else. So glad Mia's here today.
Yay.
I'm going to read the official bio, and then we're just going to take off. So I have today Mia Hewett.
Yeah.
And the name of her business is Mia Hewett, Performance Catalyst and Executive Coach. And so here's the official bio, you guys. She is a business coach that heals trauma. Mia has co-owned and operated a 7-figure business. She is an international speaker and a world-class business coach, and she's spending time with me today. She's the founder of Aligned Intelligence, or AIM, a methodology she developed after everything else she had tried didn't work. I'm sure she'll tell us about that. It takes away blind spots as to why you're struggling, or what, why, I'm going to read it exactly, as to why a person struggles, leaving them feeling empowered, making accurate decisions, and work smarter, not harder, to make more money in less time. Yes. So like many of you, Mia's most significant source of pain was knowing she was meant for more, but not understanding why she kept struggling to achieve it. So when I asked Mia what her superpower it is, she said it's how to integrate spirituality, wealth, and real power to thrive. Mia, thank you so much for talking today with us about discovering your blind spots. So that was a lot that I just read.
Yeah.
bring it back to us. What are you doing? That's a lot you're covering.
Yeah. It really is a lot, isn't it? It's really just debunking all the myths. We have so many myths in our society about how to be successful. I grew up poor. So for somebody like myself who didn't really understand, like, why are those people wealthy and why are we not? Why are we good people and why don't we have as much as those people? Like all those questions. I was really a why kid. I always wanted to understand, like, well, why? So I guess you could call me a truth seeker, right? I've always just wanted the truth, to understand like how things really work. Why is it that, even as I got older, I had a show that was sponsored by Forbes called Inside the Minds of Leaders. And I went on to interview like multimillionaires and talk with billionaires. And the fascinating thing to me was that a lot of very wealthy people didn't really know how they were so, like they couldn't break it down into an actual duplicatable, repeatable system type thing of how they got there, if you will. A lot of them will say, well, I just knew, like I just had it in my gut, right? So there's like a lot of gut stuff. And so I was always trying to understand, what is this gut thing? Like, the gut thing to me showed up as like a voice in my head that was like always sabotaging me. Like, who do you think you are? What are you going to do this wrong? You're going to do this wrong. Like, is that right? Like I think my biggest thing that used to run me before is always feeling afraid that I was going to do it wrong.
Yes.
Right. And so I didn't understand, how is it that they never had that running in the background of their mind? And so it was really through my own, like, just determination to find out what this is. I went and hired like the best of the best. Like because I built wealth, but I built it completely out of hustle and force. Like, does that mean like I would be like the typical burnout person,
right,
where
it wasn't flowing, you had to push.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. No, there was no flow back then. And everything was a struggle. It felt like everything was a struggle.
What kind of work were you doing back then?
We owned I co-owned an insurance company. So we owned an insurance company for 24 years. Because why? Because it was like, when you grow up poor, you think, oh my gosh, what's the thing that I can survive the most, that everybody must have, that, like it was all from survival. It wasn't really who I was, or who I wanted to be, I should say, but it's who I was operating as back then. So once, it's fascinating when you heal these things, because there is a healing that, to really free yourself from this trap that I always like to say that people are in. I call it like a Chinese handcuff. It feels like this, where the more you push and pull and so forth, the tighter the trap gets.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't feel like no matter what you do that you can break free of it. And so I always tell people the fastest way to get out of a trap is you have to begin to pull back and see the trap. So you can't get out of something that you can't get out of a trap you don't even know you're in. Right?
Well, that's the thing. Yes. And I'm sure you have more to say, but what's coming through my mind right away is the people that I work with, right? We're heart-centered entrepreneurs, right? So a lot of solopreneurs and struggling, and they think they need to work hard, and they have imposter syndrome, and they think the harder I work, the more it is the more that I can get done. And then they kind of just fall apart. But you're right. The ones that you see that are in flow, that have that higher energy, that just have that, right? We're going through the Marie Forleo's book in my group this month, and everything is figure outable. And if you like approach life to like, okay, we can figure this out.
Yeah.
Maybe it is like getting out of that finger trap and feeling free to go, all right, I can figure anything out.
100%. 100%. Like the way that it actually works by the universal laws, right? I'm only going to tell you truths. I'm not going to tell you an opinion, but the way it actually works in this time space reality that we live in, right? Anything that's birthed in time ends in time. That's why we don't take our bodies with us, right? We're not going to take any of the material things with us, because whatever's birthed in this time space reality stays in this time space reality. So why is that important? Because there are laws, universal laws that are governing us, just like gravity, right? There's laws that are governing us that we don't often talk about in society, but are really important to understand how things work. So let me give you an example. An example of this is when somebody says, I really want something, like they have a desire for something. So their desire is here. I really want this thing, this goal, or this, to have a life that's, that I make money with ease. But I have a belief that says, I can't do that. Nobody in my family has ever been successful. I've never, nobody in my family has ever been wealthy, right? Like when we have a belief that counteracts our desire, this is where the struggle is. The struggle is the in-between here and here, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so what it is that we have to do, there's only two choices that we have when we have this, when we're living in conflict. We can either raise our belief to equal our desire, right? Which is what I encourage everybody to do. Or the only other thing we can do is bring our desire down to settle to the belief so that we're no longer in conflict. So what happens to us, Susan, this is what you're describing so beautifully, is when we want something, and as soon as we want something and we start moving towards that action, everything that we have a belief that is the opposite of that is going to show up. So actually, what I want to say most to anyone who's listening is everything shows up that where you're triggered, that has you feel negative emotion, that feels frustrating, angry. Those are where your blind spots are. Those are the gifts. If instead of pushing against those, if you will get really curious, what is that about? Right? That's where the real work really is. It's not bigger than that.
I'd love to hear an example, Mia. Like, what is that? So, I'd love to give you an example of my own, but I don't even know where to start.
Give me something of yours and we'll just show it.
Often I have imposter syndrome, right? And often I have like, who do I think I am to get on and interview somebody as amazing as Mia, right? And who do I think I am to do that? But then I do it. And I'm like, all right, that was kind of fun. And look at me, I got to elevate and it felt really good.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. So imposter syndrome, all imposter syndrome is when you have an awareness. So when your desire is here, I want to do this thing, but I have a belief that says, who am I? Who am I to do this? All the imposter syndrome is the awareness that you are out of alignment with yourself. It's just the awareness of it, right? Because all it's pointing at is like, hey, you've got to bring that belief up to the level of your desire, right? So let's play with that just a little bit. Like you've got to bring yourself into alignment with what your desire really is. So your desire is to play big, right? Like that. You wouldn't have me on if your desire, I'm not for people who want to play small and settle, right? Like those are not the people who find me, right? The people who seek me out are the people who are like, I don't know what it is about you. And I even hate you sometimes. Like, I've had people really say, well,
if you're pushing people beyond their limits, that makes sense. It's uncomfortable.
That's why, right?
Yes.
And I love that, right? I take it as a compliment when somebody says, you irritate me. Good. What is that about? Let's like really look at what that's irritating, because there's the blind spot that you've been wanting to find what's been missing. So what happens is to people is, and I know myself included back then, is I was always like, what am I missing? What am I missing? I don't get it. Like, what am I missing? And what I'm telling you, you're missing is inside of that, right? Is your work is to bring yourself, like let go of the trap and bring your belief up to the level of your desire. So how do you do that?
That was my question. How do you do
Yeah.
that?
So to explain that a little bit in the science, and then we'll come back to how do you do that, because it'll really make sense, is so prior to the age of 7, as children, we are not born with a conscious mind. We're only born with a subconscious mind. Now, why do we care, and what's the big deal of that? Well, the subconscious mind is our feeling mind. So, you see those little kids. That's why when, and I know you have children, when they're little and you talk to them, their eyes just dilate and they're just absorb. They're taking everything you're saying in as truth, even when it's not. Right? I think we just lost your audio, unless you didn't say
I keep shutting it off because of
Oh, okay. I just want to make
you're
sure.
absolutely right. I'm like, yeah, and I'm saying something.
I just want to make sure that we didn't. So what happens is when that, inside of that, when that happens is we took everything in as feeling. So the way you create a belief is it has to go into a feeling place. That's why it became true for that child, even though it wasn't true. So the way you form a belief is you have to think an idea. You have to see an image of it, right? All the things I'm going to tell you to do, you were born with this. This is God-given gifts. You were born with, no one taught you. So like the first step is you have to see it in your mind, right? That's your imagination. Mm-hmm. No one here was taught how to imagine. You were born with the gift. The next thing you have to do is feel emotionally what it would feel like to have that desire, already have it. Everybody was born with the ability to feel. This is not something, you didn't have to go to feeling school, right? As a child, everybody feels. People have cut off their feelings when they don't understand them to survive as an adult. But as a child, it was natural to feel. So once you take an idea in your mind and you hold to it and then you feel what it feels like to have that, it begins to vibrate in a certain way. Like you feel good. That's why you're the Superman or the Superwoman. You start to feel a certain way. Doing this over and over again is what creates, by the universal law of cause and effect. Mm-hmm. This is what you are the cause that then goes out and creates that as an effect. So the reality that shows up, the results that show up to you are an effect of that cause.
So I would imagine then too, so first of all, not everybody knows what they want.
Yes.
That's a thing. And then the other thing is, even if you do, you have to kind of pretend, like fool your head.
Yeah.
That it's already happened, right? I am so happy now that I have a full practice and I'm helping clients every day to bring their gifts to the world, is one of my affirmations, right? I am so happy now that I am making change in the world through the people that I help. Yeah. Then there's affirmation decks, right? Yeah. And so that kind of gives you prompts.
Yeah, but feel this. Feel this. You can't have it as an idea or concept. You have to have it. So like those are great thoughts, but now do it again and really feel for that. Like as a feeling, let go of the intellect. Reach for your intuition, right? You have to let go of the mind. Yeah. Feel for your remember the gut thing that all these wealthy people kept saying? And I'm like, what's the gut thing? Where's the gut? Yeah. Right? You have to let go of the intellect and you have to feel, what would it feel like, Susan, if you were really living from that feeling place of what you just said? What would it feel like in your body? Right. You feel, I guess you just feel confident and you feel, again, I'll use flow as kind of, I know it's kind of a kitschy term, but it is exactly what I feel. When I presented yesterday to a group in Providence. Yeah. So I presented Tuesday night. I was not. I presented yesterday. Yeah. I threw out my notes and I just sat there and I went, I have a gift to bring here today. I am the gift here today. Yes. And let me
do that. It was so much different than Tuesday night when I was in my intellect. I need to
right.
notes. I have my bullet points. I need to figure it all out.
Yep.
And it was just much better.
Yeah.
I was just there.
Yeah, because when you're in your intellect, and this is everybody that's in their intellect, and why people are struggling is because they're in their intellect. Because in our society, we think that we give the accolades to the people who are like the smart ones. They're in the so we think the work is to be in our head, but actually the work is to understand it so that we got our mind around it, but then to let go of the intellect and then feel for what's appropriate in the moment, right? Because what you want to say, like what will be appropriate will guide you. Your intuition will guide you to the next best thing and the next best thing and the next best thing. But as soon as you go to the intellect, it will fuck you. I mean, just screw you. Like that is where all the struggle lies. That's when things don't go well. That's when what I said didn't come out the way I wanted it to say. Like everything doesn't work up there.
You are so on point. That is exactly what happened. When I came home Tuesday night and I said to he said, how did it go? I said, well, it's going to be okay, but I'm just going to go to bed now.
Yeah.
And I pulled the covers up over my head.
Yeah.
And then I just said, just don't. And he said, I just want to remind you to have fun. You got this and have fun. And I'm like, you know what? He's right. And so everything you're saying is aligning with how my week has been, and actually my past few weeks too.
Exactly. And it's a gift. It's a gift for you because what it's pointing at is that your alignment is the work. Forget everything. Like, yes, you have to understand the certain structure you're going to teach, but you have to then, so another way to say it is you've got to understand the structure you're going to teach and then let go of the structure and go from formless, excuse me. So you take the form and you go from formless, right? You just reach for the next thing and then you reach for the next thing. And so it's inside of that you become really present. Can you feel that?
That's what it was.
Yeah. And then that's what people crave.
Yes.
What people want is how you're able to do that. How are you so able to be so present? How can you just be, no matter where you are, you're always saying the right thing at the right time? Because I'm not in my intellect, right? Another way to say that is
I often say, they're like, oh, you did great, or you did whatever, or what. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of left my body. So I'll watch the video later, but I kind of left my body and I don't even know if I said everything I was supposed to, but it happened.
But that's flow. Right. That's actually the intuition. That's actually the way you want to operate from majority of your time. Like the majority of your time, you're going to get into the details. And then now let's look at that from a 7-figure business, 6-figure business, any kind of big business, 5-figure business. Let's look at that. Why does that work and understanding how we look at business. So in our businesses, there are times when we have to have the creator hat on. And this is when we allow our full self-expression to come through our voice, branding, our messaging, and so forth. So we're the creator, the artist, right? Then there's the time we have to have the hat on where we are the COO, right? We're the chief operating officer. Means we've got to be into the details. We want to make sure our processes and systems are really streamlined. Right. But then we've got to have a hat on that says that we're the CEO. Now the CEO looks at big picture, right? You've got to let go of all the details to see the big picture, right? You've got to, and so there are different thinking ways of using our minds to think on purpose depending on the job in front of us. Right. So as soon as we become attached that we can only use the intellect, we're screwed.
Right.
Because
I often talk to when I talk to my audience or my clients, I do say, you've got to, you got to have the process, right? So the COO, right? And I often recommend that they set some kind of a timer and they do deep work for whatever feels right for them, right? 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, not, with breaks in between. Yeah. And that deep work will then inform how they get to show up in their flow, because now you've got the processes, now you've got your content calendar, now you've got your email content, whatever it is. So now you get to go out and be brilliant, and you've got this like a staging really to hold you steady while you go out and do your thing, and then you can come back and reassess in your next deep work time.
But that's what exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. It's just that we misunderstand. We think if we've been misunderstanding, we think that the work is to be in the intellect all the time, where it's not. We want to hone in on the details, and which is take the form, right, and get it down, and then let go of the form so we can play in the formlessness, which is what really people are attracted to.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yes. I had a client, and that was her thing, was that she was trying to build a community, and she was trying to get everybody together, and it was like, it was meh. And then we did the content calendar, and it was better. But then through our Rise Together circles, kind of like a mastermind thing, she was challenged by the group to like show up. Like, she was so magnetic.
Yeah.
And so even though she had her calendar still, and she kind of knew, all right, this month we're talking about, let's say, Ayurvedic or chakras or whatever, she knew that was on the calendar, but she got to show up in her flow. And then what happened was more people tuned in, and she built that community that she had originally been craving. Yeah, it was.
That's actually how it's actually built.
Yes.
Yeah, it's never built the way we think. It's always because it's in our blind spot. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, I have never had one person come to me, and I'm sure you can attest to this in your own clients. I've never had one person come to me with the right problem. Right? They'll think the problem is that they need more leads, when the problem is really they don't have the right sales model, or they don't have the right business model. They'll think the problem is that they need more, more leads, or let's say like volume, because I'm thinking volume and averages. They'll think they need more volume, and really their skill set on their averages, on their skill, is what's missing. So they don't have the right skill set, but they're focusing on the wrong part of the equation, right? Because they think it's a volume issue, but it's really a batting average, a skill set issue. They'll think that they can't make money because the market doesn't really believe in it, but really they have the wrong business model that doesn't support the market who does believe in it. Like, it's never the right problem. And that's why there's no judgment. Because if they knew the right problem, they're freaking smart. They would have solved it.
So that's what you do. You help people, like they talk to you and they say, I'm stuck, and it's this. And you're like, well, tell me more.
Yep.
Like, oh, I think it might be this.
Yeah.
So you help them with that.
Yeah. Like, I'm like what someone said to me, you're like a holistic business coach. What I do is I find everywhere they are out of alignment within the truth of themselves, like where they're operating out of alignment inside of themselves as a belief, but also where their business model or their business is out of alignment. So I just help support them in bringing themselves and their business into alignment so they can make more money in less time with freedom and ease, which is what they really have always wanted.
That's what everybody wants.
I know.
That's just it. Everybody just wants that.
I know.
So good. I know we're going to be running out of time, but so tell me a couple things. One is like, what kind of clients you're attracting, and then how people can find you and learn more about you.
Yeah. So I'm not your traditional business coach. I'm the people the people I get who are the ones who have tried everything. I get a lot of referrals. The majority of my business comes from referrals, but we're going out there and I'll hit video marketing this year. It's on my promo calendar. So we'll be launching huge launches this year. So I really know more people will hear about me. But before, all of my business came from referrals, because I guarantee my work. Right? Where most people don't do that. Yeah. I guarantee my work because I understand how it all works. So all my businesses come from referrals. So what I do is inside of that, the people who are attracted to me are people who've tried everything and nothing's worked. Right? And they've had it, but there's something in them that says there's got to be someone who understands this. Because my latest client, she's like, I've used Harvard's business coach. I've used, how is it that the things you're telling me that are working, they've never told me. And because what I'm doing is not mainstream. So the people who are usually attracted to me are the outliers. The people who they know there's something that's lying outside, like something's missing, and it lies outside the mainstream, but they know that it must exist, right? There's something in them that believes that they're a truth seeker and they want the truth. And then those are my people, because they're like, those people they just stay with me. Like, we just have so much fun. And I just finished a live 3-day event, and these women transformed their lives unbelievably inside of it. Was an 8-week with a 3-day live event. And just to show you how diverse my people are, I have a woman who is an intuitive painter who literally, I helped her overcome these energies she was feeling, like, of dead people, right? Which is interesting. Never been that one, but I've helped people with food addictions and pulling out their eyelashes, trichotillomania. I've helped people of extreme things, business owners that have these. So here I have her sitting next to a very ultra conservative Christian woman, sitting next to a Persian woman, sitting next, who's Muslim, sitting next to a woman who's a leader in NASA, sitting next to a woman who was married to a very famous baseball player. So, like, you can imagine the diversity, right?
Yes.
That really is my people.
The conversations must have been off.
They're freaking amazing. Like, we just, like, this is what I crave and I love. It's the people. The funny thing is I always felt like nobody got me. I got beat up because in middle school, I got beat up for the way I looked. Somebody mistook me for being stuck up. And I was just, at that time, I didn't understand that my shyness would appear as someone who's stuck up. I got beat up for the way I looked. And so for most of my life, I never felt like people truly got me or understood me, because whatever they saw, which I don't see, blocked them from really ever getting close to me. So I could walk in a room and people would just part. Which I find so hysterical, because if you know me, there's like nothing about me in judgment of anything, right? Yeah. Anyway, but it's just kind of funny. So I've never felt like I, had a tribe. And because women, a lot of my pain came from women. Like, this girl beat me up. I never had these amazing women around me, right? I always felt all alone. I always felt more connected to men, because I wasn't interested in them, and I could just be really straight with them, and then they would just take it. Like, they wouldn't make it mean anything. So I always got along better with men. But since then, this was my trauma. Once I healed that, I have attracted to me these women from all over that have all this stuff, that are like me, who are outliers, who are visionaries, who want to play big but have been stopped by something, and they seek the truth.
Where can I guide my truth seekers are going to want to follow you.
Yeah.
People
so
find
good.
you. I'll let you tell us where to find you, and if there's anything else you wanted to let us know.
Yeah, sure. I hang out I've got my assistants are the ones posting on my Instagram and my business Facebook page, but I am the one, so my team posts, but I'm the one communicating with everyone. So there's no one communicating but me. Yeah. So I'm always talking to people and everything. So I hang out on my Instagram page and my business page, which is my name. It's Mia Hewett, Hewett. And then it's The Awakened Entrepreneur. So that comes up on my business, and that comes up in Instagram. So, but for free, I would, even though my publisher is going to kill me because I give away my book for free all the time, go to my website, because you can have my book for free. It's called Meant for More: How to Stop Secretly Struggling and Become a Force to be Reckoned with. And
that is so nice of you.
Yeah. It's all it is all the truths that I wanted, that I wrote this book for humanity. I wrote this book for people who are truth seekers, who wanted the truth. It will dispel every single truth, like mistruth, misunderstanding, debunk all the myths that you have. And it literally shows how, when we do this, because it's my story, but it's shortened into 9 chapters, and it helps the reader literally begin to unravel their consciousness so that they can clear up the misunderstandings they've been carrying around since childhood. So it's designed on purpose to help people release the things that are holding them back in life, the self-judgment, which is really what is the crucial key behind the shame and guilt they feel. And it's designed to release all that.
So good. I just want to show people that, you are the real deal. Look at you guys. Go on Mia Hewett, HEWETT.com. And there it is, right at the bottom of the page, where you can sign up for that amazing book that Mia was just sharing. I am so honored and so
Thank
great
you.
and so inspired today to like go
Thank
out
you.
and like get into
Yeah.
my flow and do my stuff.
Do it, Susan. Do
I'm doing it.
it. You're
Thank you
doing it. Okay.
so much for
My
being with
pleasure.
us today. I'll be posting this over the next day or so, and I'm so excited that we met at that Boston Business Women event. I
I
met the
know.
nicest people at that particular event. So
Awesome.
I remember you ran that one,
Yeah,
and it was
absolutely.
fantastic.
Absolutely.
Right. Well,
I'm
I
so
can't wait to hang out with you again, and
yeah,
thanks so much. I'm gonna
my
sign off
pleasure.
here.
My pleasure.